guys, and welcome back to another Remembering Forgotten Memories episode. So, I lead into this one by saying tan bark, tree sap, and jade. What do these three things have in common? Probably nothing if you're a normal person, but seeing as I'm literally the same person who thought it was a good idea to flush half a chicken cutlet down the toilet last night and probably ruin the entire plumbing system and is now actively freaking out about what to do about it, yeah, clearly I am not a normal person. So, I don't know why I just told you guys that. I also don't know why I did that. Other than I was high and I was drunk. Okay, like, enough said. But anyway, back to the story, because I'm trying to not think about the situation that I have to figure out what the hell I'm gonna do about. These three things remind me of recess at my elementary school that was, like, such an oddly specific thing. With, like, the original play structure they had there. I don't know how old that thing was. I can only assume it was probably there since the 60s. Like, it was old. Like, older than dirt. Still made of wood. Still had metal slides. That kind of play structure, you know. It was eventually swapped out to a newer one while I was still going there. Like, one of those staticky, shocky plastic ones, but yeah, I still argue the original was better, but beside the point. So the original had tan bark all over the ground instead of that, like, chipped wood crap, like, mess that all playgrounds seem to have now. I suppose they probably still even call it tan bark, but that is not tan bark compared to what, like, the original, like, redwood, like, chips of, like, tan bark were. Like these, you could, like, pick up and, like, carve into things with them, like tan bark, not freaking little softy, fluffy shit. Totally different thing. So, one thing we would do with it, we would just, like, kind of, like, dig our foot into it and, like, draw pictures in it, and then, like, climb up on top of the play structure and, like, look down at it, see if we did a good job, see if it needs changing. Some of the edgier kids, also me, would, write swear words in it, and then get somebody to, like, go climb up and look at what it said, you know, or, like, draw a dick. Hey, go look. And this is a Catholic school. I am not even the one who started this, okay? I am a follower. And I saw other people do it, and then I thought it was funny, so I kept doing it too, but we were probably in all of second grade when we were doing that one, but, anyway. That was just one thing. Sometimes we would pick up the pieces of the tan bark, and we would go over to the underside of the play structure, and there was, like, one post in particular that I don't know why we did this. I definitely see why the whole thing had to be replaced, probably because of specifically us, but we'd kind of, like, carve into this one post, seeing if we could, like, dig through it all the way. In hindsight, that is a terrible idea. What did we think was going to happen if we did, in fact, go all the way through it? Like, I don't know if we thought it was just going to magically continue hovering in place. I don't know, but, like, we made it our mission to, like, work away, chipping away at this thing every freaking recess. For years, guys, and it was more than just a few of us doing it too. And there was, like, other posts, they kinda did it on the lesser, but, like, one in particular, specifically the one under the slide, was, like, the one we all attacked for, like, no good goddamn reason. Like, again, kids are stupid, but then again, I am no longer a kid, and I'm still stupid, so, I mean, you know, some things don't change, but, yeah, terrible idea, but was a thing we did with it. Sometimes we just, like, pick up freaking handfuls of it and throw it at each other because I don't know why. Kid logic. But a lot of times what we would do, we would grab several pieces of it, And we would walk over to these big-ass trees that were right along the perimeter of, like, the schoolyard line. I don't know what kind of trees they were. These were not the eucalyptus trees that were in different parts of the schoolyard. No, 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 not those. This is some other kind of tree, because eucalyptus doesn't get sap. These had sap. And it had a lot of it. Like, a lot. Like, even if you just played in that area, your shoes would get wiped out from all the sap, because it was such a thing. But it kind of looked pretty and, like, drippy amber, like, coming down the sides of the trees. And for whatever reason, somebody decided to, like, start this rumor that that sap was actual amber and was worth lots of money, and that we should collect it because it was worth a lot of money. Yeah, so we would take our little pieces, like, we would find, like, a fatter piece of tan bark, and we would have, like, a little, like, chiselly piece of tan bark, and, like, try to just, like, catch little bits of it, and scrape it off the tree, and put it on the fatter piece of tan bark, and collect it up, and be like, yeah, see how rich I'm gonna be? Look how much sap I got. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be worth so much money. What did any of us think we were going to do with this to get it from point A to point B of turning into money? I don't know. The logic is so flawed. But so many of us believed this stupid thing and did it for years as well. Like, we bought it hook, line, sinker. To the point where kids would fight over, like, crowding around the trees trying to get the biggest globs of sap because they wanted the most money for them. There were points in time where, like, the yard duties would have to break us up and tell us no one's allowed around the damn trees anymore. Yeah, it was that big of a freaking problem. Which is so stupid in hindsight. Like, what the... It's fucking sap, dude. Like, calm down. And I, like, had so hook, line, and sinker bought into this one that noticing some of the trees in my grandpa's orchard also had sap on them, I was like, oh my god, I have a leg up on, like, everyone at school, because I have my own private supply right here. And then my grandpa caught me doing it, and he was like, what the hell are you doing? And I told him why. He was like, the hell are you talking about? Tree sap's not worth anything. You can't get money for that. And it was just like the floor gave out under me in that moment of just, like, existential crisis of everything I've ever been told is a lie. Just like I had believed it for so many years that I was probably in 5th grade by this point when he finally had to tell me that. Yeah. But backpedaling a little bit, where the jade comes in, I don't mean the gemstone, although that is still my favorite, but I mean the jade plants, the succulents, the ones with the, like, big fat green leaves on them, that, like, you could take one leaf of, supposedly, and plant it in dirt and, like, grow a whole new plant. I still don't get how that works. I've tried it. I've never made it work. My mom can do it, and literally, this is what reminded me of this in the first place, because she just did it in our backyard, and now this thing is huge. I'm like, you did that from one freaking leaf. How? Like, just, how? And why can I not do the thing? But, like, these, they were technically on the other side of the fence, but they were kind of growing through the fence, and we could also kind of, like, get our little bitty kid hands through the chain link fence and get at it. So we would kind of, like, reach through and, like, pull off little leaves of it, because somebody figured out if you took either a stick or some tan bark and you, like, poked into it, you can make designs in it. And, oh, look at all the juice that comes out. Oh my gosh, isn't that fun? So also on these trees, where they had, like, cut off limbs and things, there was little flat surfaces that we decided were perfect to use as work surfaces now. And somebody decided, I don't know who, they were going to take these on there. And they're going to take their tan bark. And they're going to put, like, S's on all of them, just in little dots across the leaf. I'm printing money. Now, this we knew was not legal tender, but that was all it took. A spoiled-ass little private school children to want in on this. Apparently just hearing the word money was, okay, we're in. But, yeah. So many of us suddenly were over there now. Getting the leaves off of there. And we're making all the money. Look at how rich we are. And there was like this pipe on the ground, just like an empty, long-ass pipe. I don't know what it was from. It didn't connect to anything. I think it was just a spare leftover pipe from something that they didn't dispose of and they didn't know where to put it, so they just chucked it against the fence and there it sat for freaking ever. I think it's still there to this day. But we would literally take all of these that we had printed and stuff them into the end of the pipe because that was our bank vault. Yup. Never mind that by the next day they were like crusty and dried up and gross, but like in the moment it seemed like a cool idea. And yeah, other days they decided it wasn't money. We're making pizzas on these, and that kind of just consisted of rapid fire all over them. Foreshadowing of my future. And we would also shove those in the pipe, except this time the pipe was our oven, and we would actually fish them back out and try to con somebody into eating them. And on one such occasion, I was the dummy who ate them. And only after having eaten them did I suddenly have the thought cross my mind, I wonder if these are poisonous. Hence started probably my first ever full-blown panic attack in school in all of first grade, to the point where I was trying to hold it together through the rest of recess and not be a total train wreck, but made it into the classroom, lasted all of 5 minutes, and just started bawling my head off. Inconsolably. The teacher's like, oh my god, what's wrong? And I'm just sitting there like, I'm dying. She's like, why are you dying? I'm poisoned. I got poisoned at recess. So obviously, this is like a whole ass thing. She's like, why? What did you eat? And I didn't know what the name of those plants were called. So I'm just like saying, like, the green leaves off the plant or the trees, like near the trees. So she's thinking these are eucalyptus leaves, right? And those actually are toxic. So now she's freaking out. She's calling home and everything. I get sent home. I'm supposed to go to the doctor. However, we have some of these plants outside of our house. And as my parents are freaking out trying to get me to describe what these plants are that I poisoned myself with, I point to them. I was like, those! It's those right there! It's some of those! My mom just face palmed so frickin' hard. She's like, yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine. You don't need to go to the doctor. You'll be fine. Those aren't poisonous. But probably not a good idea to eat them, but you're fine. Idiot. But like, oh. But like, I was still half convinced for like the entire rest of that day. But what if she's wrong though? And what if these are like a different kind of those that totally are poisoned and I totally am dying right now? So like, I was not convinced until I woke up the next morning and very clearly wasn't dead, and oh. Guess she's right. Okay, and went on about my frickin' life. Did not eat those again, but continued having zero guilt and feeding them to other people because, well, now that I know they're not poisonous, hey, no harm, no foul, but this was not the only time that I freaking had something like that happen in first grade. Another time, I ate one of those pink erasers and was convinced I was poisoned and dying. There was another time I ate a crumpled up piece of paper and was convinced that because I had written on it with a pencil, that now I had lead poisoning and was dying. Are we noticing a common theme here of my panic attacks? Being like very preoccupied with death at a very young age. Yeah, not much else has changed there, but yeah, seeing that she had just made another one of these plants in the backyard the other day, I was like, you know what that makes me think of? So for old time's sake, I totally got a piece of tan bark and ripped off one leaf and poked a little S in it and just flung it over the freaking fence just because I don't know. But anyway, but yeah, that is what those three things had in common from my childhood. I'm an idiot. We know this, but I'm also sure I'm not the only one who was an idiot. Or possibly still is, you know. So, anyway, that is it for this one. So, as usual, you know what to do. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you're not already and you'd like to be, click subscribe. Hit that notification bell icon so you never miss an upload. Leave comments down below. Make sure you're following my social media accounts, my Facebook fan page, my Twitter, my Instagram, my eBay, my Reddits, everything and more. It's all down below. And if you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to help support it, the donation link, as always, is down in the description. Anyway, guys, till next time, see ya.